Welcome back, everyone, to your favorite Dokkan Battle podcast. And yes, you see me, Minato, right here as the host. Very, very excited to actually do this today, so hope you guys all enjoy this. But let's hop right into it. We do have a very, very good all-star cast of guests, in my opinion. So let me go ahead and introduce everyone, then we'll hop right into it. So first off, we do have a Gale right here. Genshin God, I think I would call him, right?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I've been called various things, so I'll take Genshin God for once, you know?
Yeah. Okay. I don't know, that was funny to me, but anyways. We have Ice Cold Joker as well, you know. I don't know, I just love your slime content, bro. Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
And then we have the one, the only Cyberman killer on all his thumbnails, Masked Ningen. What's up?
That's right. I gotta pay homage to all of the Cybermen that have to be sacrificed in order to get those level 10 links. So yeah, how's it going, everybody? Happy to be here as always to talk about Dokkan. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, again, I love those thumbnails are just funny, right? I just see them, they're all like spread around, just kind of dead, right? But yeah, that's pretty much all our cast today, and of course, thanks to Vilify and the back ends for maintaining everything, you know, the stream and everything. Shout out to him. Does this every week now. He's the GOAT. But yeah, let's hop right into it. This is a podcast, of course, 81. Ultimate Gohan cannot catch a break, or can't catch a break, right? Because it's pretty self-explanatory. So I guess with that title, let's hop right into the main topic, I feel like, of the week. S-Tier Ultimate Gohan's EZA. So last week we chose not to cover S-Tier Ultimate Gohan's EZA just because he technically wasn't out yet, and we wanted to make sure we did have ample time to play with the unit. So now that we've all had a good amount of time to play with Ultimate Gohan, I feel like it's a good time to kind of talk about it and give ourselves our general thoughts on it. I feel like a lot of people know my own stances on Ultimate Gohan, right? So I'll hand it off first to Ningen. What do you think of S-Tier Ultimate Gohan and his EZA?
Well, unlike you, I don't hate Hybrid Saiyans, so I think he's pretty good. No, yeah, I think he's definitely a very good EZA unit overall. The biggest issue, of course, comes with the chance to guard, which, you know, just like complaints about UI dodging and stuff like that. It just essentially comes down to the unit can be really good in some circumstances and then can get you killed if you don't get good RNG, which obviously you have no control over. So he's definitely very good. Obviously, he's an attack stacker. He only gets his defense raised for one turn, but I think on his best sort of turn with support, after supering, he is at like 400k defense. But obviously, if that guard doesn't activate, if you take him into really difficult content and he gets hit with a super attack near the end, then and the guard doesn't activate, he probably gets you killed, which is kind of annoying. But when the guard does activate, then he looks great because he puts out pretty decent attack stats while at the same time taking no damage. So he is pretty good, but unfortunately just got shafted by the good old only having a chance to guard.
Yeah, I would agree. That is definitely a very unfortunate aspect of it because you can't tell when guard is activated sometimes. And even when you have it guaranteed for the next turn after, when you're deeper in those bosses, you can kind of get screwed over if he doesn't, you know, actually guard. I experienced that yesterday. I took him against AJO Broly, right, trying to do some hybrids runs just for fun. And he did a guard at the end, and Broly supered him for 1.4 million attack. So that's pretty cool, right?
Damn.
Yeah, he took like a 370k normal. So, I mean, that's how he does against the hardest boss of the game if that 50% chance doesn't go off. Mine's rainbowed, defense equips, and everything like that, right? But
to be fair, that is also type disadvantage. So I don't know if you can
right.
really, you know, judge it really. I mean, yeah, of course, that's one big thing, of course, is that if he doesn't get the guard, he is a bit of a sitting duck against the red zone stages. But I think still generally, I mean, if you look at him as a general unit, I think he's still really good. It's just a shame that that chance to guard is what makes or breaks him in what is now definitively the hardest content in the game, right?
I mean, yeah, I would say that there are some red zone stages that he could be good against. Like, for example, Janemba, he has a physical stage at the end, right? So, you know, he'll always have his guard active there, stuff like that. But yeah, I know that when his details first came out, a lot of people were like very excited for him. Me personally, you probably saw me saying he was so good, right? When I first saw his details, because I was kind of blinded by the hype myself, I feel like. But Joker, what do you think? Do you think he's better than initial persons, or do you think he ended up worse than we had all hoped him to be when his details first came out?
I think he's pretty much floated around as just kind of mid, because in my limited uses of testing him both times against the Legendary Vegeta event, he didn't guard against Evolution Blue Vegeta's super attack, and he killed me
Yep.
both times. And I was like, okay, well, this is dumb. And then even during the fights, like I would just lose track of when he was guarding and when he was not, because like he guarded a couple times, and it's like, okay, is this turn 3? Is this turn 4? Is this do we have
Yeah.
guard anymore? And then he's like, oh no, we don't have guard. That sucks. So I'm not a fan. His
I
attack
think-
stats are good if you can stack them, and I have built him for additionals, so he got up to like 6 million linked up with the Tech Gohan, and it's like that's cool and all. But then I transformed Tech Gohan, and he was at like 8 million. It's like, well,
Yeah.
you have guaranteed guard, so I guess STR Gohan's just gonna sit there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, one thing I will say that I wish Dokkan did when they did that whole UI revamp on, when it came to the, showing the links on screen when you tap on them in battle and stuff, is they should have definitely done this whole thing of like, okay, there is an icon that says if you're guarding that turn or not, right?
Yep.
Because I think that's one of the things, if they're planning on doing this from here on out, because of Tech Ultimate Gohan being so overpowered, where they're just gonna give these units just a chance to guard instead, it would be handy for players like, well, not players like us, but all players to have that visibility to be able to see whether that unit is guarding that turn or not, especially like STR Namek Goku, and STR Ultimate Gohan for sure. Yeah, that's how I personally feel as well. That what they should have probably done.
I mean, yeah, I definitely would agree with you there. I think that, even if it's like some part of the pasta that's highlighted or, something like that, or maybe there's an icon you could see,
Yeah,
there needs to be some indication that you're guarding. Like, like how you see the attack up defensive icon when you click on the little wheel and you see all the characters. Maybe if you see like a guard symbol there, you could see, oh, okay, he's guarding, like a little shield or something, right? That'd be really cool. But unfortunately, we don't have that, so that just does hurt him, right? Because you can't really tell. I think that they probably made a mistake trying to go for a balance of him, in my personal
Mhm.
opinion. I think they should have gone more defensive orientated. They should have made his guard last for 5 turns. They should have made him stack defense. I don't really care about the additional, though the additional would obviously be good for him stacking, right? So that's really my take on it. I think instead of him just, being a little more offensively based, I think they should have added a little more defense to him. Maybe add some extra defense in his passive that's multiplicative, because all of his attack and defense are start of turn. So, there's units nowadays that get like, attack and defense on super attack and getting hit, which those are very important, especially next to support units. So that's just my take on it. Really a good amount of talk for STR Gohan, right? I mean, he could be good, he could be not good. It really depends on that 50-50 chance, unfortunately, but it is what it is at this point. But yeah, speaking of Gohan, we actually do have the Goku Gohan and Goten Day celebration. Technically, it's Goten Goku Gohan, right? But whatever order you want to say. We do have some free-to-play EZAs that are coming out on the 9th. Actually, that should be out tomorrow night, if I'm not mistaken, in the US, right? Other time zones, it does depend. You could probably give you a better time zone for like EU and stuff, right? But yeah, it does come out basically like 36-ish hours, 38-ish hours or something like that. So again, we do have a couple of free-to-play EZAs. We have the Goku, Gohan, and Goten from the Boo Saga story event that came out in 2020 before the I believe it's the worldwide download celebration. So a lot of people feel like these units are underwhelming, even just bad. What are you thinking about this, Joker?
I mean, Ultimate Gohan is okay, but not getting defense on his super attack effect is pretty bad. Like 58% attack and defense at the start of turn, and another 58 when there's a Goku family on the same turn is not hard. And he gets 20% when each super attack performed up to 58%. So, 3 stacks of that. And he's also a support unit, so he's not bad, but he's got what is his stats? 8,700 defense, 13,300 attack. So he'll put up okay numbers for a free to play unit. But the Go 10, Key 5 and all allies attack and defense plus 10%. Chance to perform a crit. When there's an ally whose name includes Goku, Angel, or Trunks Kid attacking in the same turn. Oh, that's unfortunate. I didn't read that part until now. Goku's family category allies, 1 key, 30%. So I guess he's a decent support, but having to be restricted to Goku, Angel, or Trunks Kid? Like, Trunks Kid's not hard. Goku Angel is a little bit tougher to get, but he does raise defense on his super attack, and he's got 150 to start out with. So, and then another 50%. Oh, that's only when. Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, and then moving on to the Goku. Sorry, Vilify, I'm just like jumping all over the place. Attack and defense for 1 turn. Supreme damage with a 30% chance to stun. Defense 159. Attack plus 159 and disables enemy's guard for 7 turns from the start of the fight. Attack plus 59% and a high chance of evading enemy's attack starting from the 8th turn. Okay, I don't like that at all. Plus an additional 20% defense each attack evaded. When there's a name who includes Goten. Oh god, this is awful. Okay, yeah. Ultimate Gohan probably looks the best out of these guys. Just the least amount of restrictions on him. So, sorry, that was a really long information dump right there.
Yeah, for sure, right. That's fine, right? I think that, when it comes to these units, some are better than the others, right? For sure, just how units are going to work. So we do have, again, the Angel Goku, the Goten Kid, and the Ultimate Gohan. I know, like, a lot of people like myself were expecting Ultimate Gohan to stack defense, but funny enough, they added lowering defense onto him, right? I just personally feel they didn't actually add enough to the Ultimate Gohan himself, right? I think that Ultimate Gohan, he should have had a little more. The only changes that were made is he got a little extra stats. He got lower defense, and then his high chance to become a super attack. And his passive, he gets a great chance to do another super attack, which is like, it's fine, right? I just don't think that there's enough improvement into him from what he was originally. So unfortunately, I think that he's just not going to be used even compared to the STR one. But again, I think that an interesting unit is the actual STR Goten. Yeah, what are your thoughts on the STR Goten, right? How is he looking for you specifically?
Oh, the STR Goten specifically. All right. In general, I'll just quickly give my thoughts generally on what I think about these units. To be quite honest, they're very, very quirky, and in all honesty, I feel like this has been the case for a very long time. In my opinion, I feel like this past year in general, I was talking to somebody on Twitter about this, and I feel like the past year for EZA free to play units have just been questionable for the most part. They've not been impressive. They've had very quirky restrictions or situations, and it's just been supremely odd across the board, right? Goten, for me, I think I like him a little bit more than the other guys, to be quite honest. Obviously, I feel like because you're gonna be seeing a Trunks Kid with him more often than not, Goku Angel is a little bit restrictive, I agree, but I mean, that's okay. You can chuck that out at the side. Trunks Kid is primarily the one you're going to be running alongside him. Very likely you will. And at that point, you're getting all of his stuff going, so it's not really a problem. So I think STR Goten's fine. Into Ultimate Gohan seems like he's just a stat stick, and that's about it. And even then, his stats aren't that great, so it doesn't really matter. And Goku, I don't know what they were doing, so I think Goten, to me, is probably the best out of the lot, in my opinion, just looking at what they do.
Hey, what do you think about this, Negan? I'd like to hear your thoughts as well.
Well, just about the units in general, or free to play EZAs?
I mean, if there's one that sticks out to you between the 3 that we're talking about,
I think the one that sticks out to me as actually being potentially quite useful is the Goten one, because he's obviously got decent attack and defense at the start of the turn, greatly raises defense on super attack. So the additional attack and defense 50%, 5 key, and giving allies a little bit of extra support is obviously nice to have, but it is very restricted, Goku Angel or Kid Trunks. The Kid Trunks isn't so bad because you normally want to run Goten and Trunks together. But obviously he's a Goku family support unit, so you're probably not going to be using him in a lot of those situations. But I feel like, depending what he actually looks like, obviously I want to see him in game, of course, first. But like on a Goku family team, just as a support unit, I feel like as a 3rd slot floating unit, once he's raised his defense with that super attack, even if you're not getting any of the other restriction, he's still giving 30% attack and defense to what is obviously a very good team. And of course, Goku Angel, that does include units like the physical Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3 Goku Angel, who's a pretty good unit. So he definitely could have a place on a Goku family team as a support unit. Gohan just seems a little bit lacking, and then the Goku, his abilities, I don't really understand his design. He's a little bit all over the place. The fact that he gains dodge after 8 turns, when in most long events you can't dodge at the very end. So very.
Did you mean the int? Did you mean the int one? SSJ3, SSJ2 to SSJ3, because the physical one is just base Goku. He's not Angel.
Yes, I totally meant the int one. I did not forget that the physical one was not Angel. So yes, I totally meant the int one because he's super good, right? Still.
Yeah.
But yeah, any Angel Goku. Oh, there's a couple of Angel Gokus who are okay. Okay. So. But yeah,
I'm just looking at the roster right now. It ain't that great, to be honest.
It's just that the Otherworld Warriors team needs more, right? Obviously, this could have been a perfect unit for it, but this is a unit that he wants to dodge to build up extra parts of his passive, and Goten has to be on the team for that. That's 59% extra defense you can get, but can't dodge until turn 8. Like that's not really going to be great for like red zone. Right? In some stages in red zone you can't even dodge, right? So.
Imagine the part 2 LR is actually just the Goku Angel with wings, and it's not even Bye Guys. It doesn't even include the Bye Guys animation. It's just Goku Angel with wings.
Dude. I don't even know. They shafted him just because we're getting a good Goku Angel, huh? Okay. But yeah, I mean, we're still on the topic of free-to-play units, right, for the Goku Day celebration. Another unit that's coming out that's not even related to Goku, Gohan, or Goten in a sense, right? In terms of blood, we're getting this Super Strike Trunks, right? Super Strike Trunks is just a very, very interestingly designed free-to-play unit. I think that he looks pretty solid, right? But there's one condition in specific that seems to be a little too restricted. So, and then I'll let you go ahead and explain it. I guess it looks like you seem to kind of find it funny, huh?
Yeah, so this is the thing that we were talking about. I was going to say, but I thought I'd keep it till we got to this topic. When Gail was saying about guard and about how great it would be to have an icon that shows you at the start of the turn whether that ability had activated. Well, that's an ability that Trunks has that would be very, very nice as well. So Trunks has a high chance of having the Scouter effect, so you being able to see the enemy super attacks, but only when there is an extreme class enemy and the entire rotation is Saviors units. Now, at first, like when I first read his kit, I know a lot of people's instant reaction was like, oh, he's terrible. Like, these are way too bad restrictions. But if you look at the kind of places I guess you would probably run him, right? Because he's not a Super Saiyan or a Goku family. So even though he's on Android/Cell Saga, he's not on the 200% team. So the main place you're probably going to use him is the Hybrid Saiyans team. And obviously with the new EZA for STR Ultimate Gohan, I know a lot of people are running the Tech Ultimate Gohan and STR Ultimate Gohan rotation, and both of them are on Saviors. And there are quite a few Hybrid Saiyans that are on Saviors. Obviously, if you want to run Tech Gohan as a leader, then his secondary leader skill is Saviors, which I think everybody forgets about because it's a very small category and everybody just runs him as a Hybrid Saiyans leader. But obviously that category has units like Pycon, who's actually a really good support unit in a third slot for any team that he can fit on, because as long as you get his orb restriction, which is super easy, he provides support as well as dodging and all that stuff. Krillin is on that team, so even though he obviously gives more support with a Goten or a Trunks, he's a support for superclass allies. So it's actually very possible to make a pretty solid Saviors team with the Tech Gohan leads, and then this Trunks would be probably able to get his full potential. But obviously that is the downside to this unit is I think we were all quite excited to see what he would be like. Personally, I think the art is pretty sick, but yeah, you can only really get his full potential on basically a full Saviors team. So I think he'll still be very good on Hybrid Saiyans. I know I was really looking forward to him being a good support unit that could maybe be the go-to for the Majin Vegeta team, because obviously you want to have a Trunks. So if he was going to be a really good support unit for that team, that could have been really good. But Majin Vegeta's team does not have a lot of crossover with Saviors. So unfortunately, he's probably not going to fill that role. So I think he could be decent, but yeah, he has to be on a full Saviors team. And then, yeah, the worst part about his ability is you actually won't know when you go into a turn whether his ability did activate and the enemy isn't super attacking you, or his ability just didn't activate and you're about to eat a super attack to the face in slot 1. So I don't mind them giving the Scouter ability to more units and making it a chance to activate, but only if they tell you whether it's actually it actually worked or not, because it almost defeats the whole point of the ability if you don't actually know whether it's activated. So I do find that very confusing.
No, I would definitely agree with that, right? It's like you can't really know for sure when it's gonna activate or not. Like I remember back then you used to be able to tell whether or not it was activated, but that's because like you know how they used to circle all the icons with like a gray little icon, right? And then the one that was red would be the one that you got. But sorry, I'm summoning right now. Ignore me anyways. But now it doesn't do that anymore, so you can't really tell whether or not the unit you're gonna get is actually good like that or not, which is very very unfortunate. I'm sorry, dude. Okay, so alright, I did a multi summon real quick, just kind of off topic, but I got another 16 and 18. That's my 6th copy, and I don't have Cell.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, dude, I hate this banner. Oh, but anyways, yeah, back to Trunks. I think that it's nice to have units that are designed specifically to buff a certain team, which is nice for sure, because you know, like Sabers, for example, is not a team that's really that great right now, right? So Sabers eventually maybe can get more units, and then it can actually become a more runnable team, especially with units that are focused to be good on that team, right? You're ideally just gonna use them on the Sabers team. And I think you can actually perform pretty well, better than people will probably expect. I think people are looking at that Scouter chance, and whilst it is very restricted and it sucks, it's he still will be a good unit on the Sabers team with the support. But yeah, any thoughts you guys have? Gale, Joker?
No,
Well, just to
pretty much everything's
clarify,
been said on my end.
this is something that's confusing me a little bit. His chance to see an enemy super attack is only if all allies are attacking the same turn or saviors and there's an extreme class enemy, right?
Yes.
Or is it just
That's how I translated
okay?
it. Yeah.
The way it's worded, because I'm looking at the wiki right now, because I just wanted to double check and confirm that, because it says high chance of foreseeing enemy super attack when there is an extreme class enemy, and then it's all allies attack and defense 10% if all allies are attacking in the same turn or saviors. So I was just confused as if that's two separate things. I mean, we'll probably only find out once we actually see it in testing, I suppose, probably. But either way, I mean, this Trunks is decent. I like the idea of it being a chance. It's not really a bad thing. And I mean, if it doesn't, I mean, if there is no icon saying, oh, the enemy is using a super attack here, you have to just assume at that point, you know, take a little bit of you don't you can I mean, you have to play it safe during that turn no matter what, I think, at that point, right? So to me, this is a less of a problem compared to God. I feel like the God icon is way more important than not being able to see a super attack, or a chance to not see the super attack, I suppose. Because I feel like you can just play it safe in that turn instead, right? Which is fine, in all honesty. But the guard is obviously much more riskier, in my opinion. But otherwise, I mean, it's fine. If it is that restrictive, that's my only real concern, is why is it so restrictive?
I mean, like it could be useful sometimes, but I don't know. That's the only thing I don't like about the unit. But based on how I was, again, I did the translations and they came out based on how it looks like. They put it together all in one section, the passive. So it says it's because in direct JP text it says when all allies in the rotation are saviors, you get the support buff and you get the Scouter if there's an extreme class, right? And then they separate it by another thing, right? So they're all squished together. But one thing I would say is that I do like the sticker for this Trunks. It looks pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
I want to see
one of the better stickers for sure.
I want to see what his super attack animation is going to be. See if they actually gave it like a decent revamp, because
it's okay. It's not that special.
Wow, thanks. And I'm disappointed. Way to burst my bubble.
I'm sorry, because you're gonna be excited and you're gonna see it and you're gonna be like, oh, it's okay. Like, I don't wanna. I better just burst the bubble now before you see it actually in game and you're like, wow, I'm disappointed during the showcase. right?
True. That is true. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you see, I'm helping him avoid some like misguided perception of the unit just by that alone. You're welcome, guys. You're gonna get a better Massningen showcase because of me. But yeah. We do have one more free-to-play unit that's coming with the new Extreme Super Battle Road stages. Technically, we won't be able to actually awaken this unit for a couple of months. Keep that in mind, because we do need to get all 10 of these current set of Extreme Super Battle Road stages first, which we're only the third one in. This is the LR Gohan and Goku. Their EZA, the Super Battle Road reward, the tech one, the one that sounds like that little robot thing, right? Again, the community hasn't really been impressed by their design either. Gail, no, you have definitely taken a look at the unit. What do you think about them?
I mean, they're okay. I feel like it's another situation where it's yet again the same problem that I've had for the last year. What I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, in that these units are for some reason super quirky for no reason. It's crazy to think that the best SBR EZA is still probably Kid Gohan. You know, it's actually
Yep.
crazy to think that. I like the idea or the direction they went. It just should have been more, because it feels like they just went too safe with them again, and I don't know why they're going too safe with them. And it's especially noticeable now, because if you look at the power creep we've had in the past 3 or 4 months since the 200% leads came out, it's a huge gap between, free to play units versus actual summonable units. Now, even banner units, I'd say, are way better. Back in the day, I still remember, you still had the likes of Beepan, you had Goku Gohan. I the original Goku and Gohan Super Saiyan. I remember using them in so many events. Now, I don't want to use them, obviously, because they've aged. But even if you look at the newer free to play EZAs that have come out, they're just as they're super unimpressive and unusable even. So while it's an okay EZA, but just compared to the rest of the game, it just isn't there at all, in my opinion, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I definitely would say that. The one thing that I don't like about this unit is that they're kind of at odds with its design. They want to be in the third slot, but then they build up defense at the start of each turn, and then they build up attack with each super attack they do. Which I guess it's fine because I have the great chance to super in the third slot, right? But it's uh, I don't know. I feel like that's just kind of weird design, right?
It was a weird design when they first dropped, because I think this was something that was that was a problem with them anyways at the start when they first dropped, right? And it's something that they
No,
should have fixed, but
they
if I
added
recall,
they added that after the EZA. They
Are
didn't
you
stack
sure?
defense per turn. Yeah, I'm looking at the page right now. But just
Okay,
to be
fair
sure,
enough, fair
but
enough.
yeah.
I swear they did, but okay, fair enough, fair enough.
They built up attack on their passive. They always stack defense, right? But
Yeah,
the
yeah.
defense they get at the start of turn, the extra defense like that, they didn't have that for EZA. So
Wait, no, they had 59% defense at the start of turn, right?
yeah, but the extra defense they built up
Oh
for being
yeah,
on
yeah,
rotation.
yeah. No, I know what you mean. Okay, yeah, yeah. No, I get what you mean. Yeah, it's just that they've got the same problem that the 5-year LRs had. To be quite honest, they've just given them that problem basically to these guys, which is
Yeah,
a shame.
it's kind of just like they could have made him a little better, you know. Any thoughts on this,
Yeah.
Ningen, Joker? One of y'all got thoughts on this?
I think they can be a very good slot 3, because I'm sensing a lot of LR Janemba plus LR God Goku and Hit in their kit. Just because Janemba is at odds being a guarding character, but only building up in slot 2 or 3. But then Hit and God Goku has all of their additional stuff, but then in slot 3 they get really, really strong. So I mean, I don't think they're not going to be a mainline rotation unit. There are much better choices to use. But as a slot 3 for a player who's still kind of starting out, they'll be very strong because they get that 70% chance to additional, and they raise defense on both their super attacks and their 12 key seals. So I think it's their 12 key that seals. So I mean, it's not going to be bad. And if they get those additional supers, and once they come back on rotation, and you can also pop their hidden potential, so you could do 3 super attacks, triple raise defense, get 3 stacks of their passive, which I think will max them out in one turn if you get lucky like that. I mean, yeah, chat, you're right. Or Vilified. SBR, they're not really obtainable, but they can still be a strong option
Yep.
because they get the defense and the attack, and if they can
The
triple
thing-
super, then they're looking good.
My issue is that also with this unit, you have to realize that this unit is going to be out in like 8 months. So even if they're
Yeah.
looking just okay now, when they actually come out, they'll be pretty mid probably, unfortunately, because they're not great right now. So they're going to be bad when you could actually
Yep.
use them, right? Because you have to
Oh,
get
that's fair.
all the medals, right? All 10 stages have to be out.
That's fair.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say. They are like okay when you look at their design on paper. They're an interesting unit. The only problem is, I mean, obviously everyone likes to build teams differently. I still very much stick to the archetype, regardless of what category I'm building, pretty much, where I always want my third slot units to be support units. So units like this that are built around being in the third slot but don't support, I probably wouldn't run this unit on my team anyway. And the biggest issue is, like Minato said, is we're getting the details now, and the unit already seems kind of mid now. But yeah, there's 3 stages out on JP for the next set of ESBR. So they have released the last couple fairly quickly, but even at like best case scenario, we still need 7 more stages to come out. That's going to be at least like 4 to 5 months. Maybe it will be 8, but it's going to be at least like 4. And if you think about 4 months from now, we are going to be in like worldwide download celebration kind of time. So we're already going to have had the anniversary on global. So everyone will be using the 7-year units and have experience of how good they are. And then the worldwide download celebration, EZA, Dokkan Fest LRs are going to come out. And then finally you're going to be able to EZA these guys. And so they're just going to look awful compared to all the units that people are using at the time when you can finally EZA them. So I think with these units, and obviously Vilify brought it up in the chat, and I was going to say, even if it hadn't been mentioned already, is just the fact that these are the reward for beating all the stages of Extreme Super Battle Road, which obviously for some of us, like, though we don't find those stages that difficult anymore, but some people obviously do. So these cards that they give you as a reward for actually beating end game content, like, they should be good. There should be a reason for you to want to get them, right? Because they should actually be really good. It's like, he's the standout example, because he's probably still the best one, is Prime Battle Frieza being so good, because the amount of effort you have to go through to actually get him, like, it takes quite a significant amount of time. So it is a little bit disappointing, especially if you are that kind of player who your account is finally at the level where you'll actually be able to start like beating all of these ESBR stages, and then the reward you get for beating all the 10 stages is a unit that you're probably not even going to use because they're not that good. So very disappointing.
I mean, I'd argue to say the stones are worth more than the actual EZA.
Yes,
Probably.
I would agree.
Like the fact that Kid Gohan is still the best one is quite telling, to be quite honest. I mean, it's crazy.
At the very least, it's a free EZA stacking unit, right? So
I mean, hey,
the only issue is that
J-Fan is happy.
if you're able to beat those stages, then you probably don't even need the unit, right?
Yeah, that's another
the
thing. Yeah, it's a collector's based unit. That's it.
Yeah, that's obviously what they think about them. But yeah, I mean, I think we've slandered that unit well enough. All of us don't like it. But speaking about the actual Super Battle Road stages themselves, they're getting technically 4 Super Battle Road stages across both versions. Global is actually getting the Master and the Bond of Master and Disciple Super Battle Road stage, and then the Wicked Bloodline Extreme Super Battle Road stage, which JP just got like a week or 2 ago. So that's actually pretty quick for Extreme Super Battle Road to get that stage. Global players, I know pretty much all 3 of you guys are global players. What kind of teams and builds are you guys planning to beat that stage?
Well, for Wicked Bloodlines, I'm gonna run a Wicked Bloodlines team.
Whoa!
What? It's crazy.
Actually,
astounding piece of news.
What kind of units are you gonna run then? Huh? Like,
you say
you're gonna run.
LR
full power Frieza, third form Frieza.
It's gotta be a lot of Friezas, a little bit of coolers, here and there. Just the usual suspects.
Gail, you aren't funny. Just kidding.
Well, funnily
not that
enough-
I disagree, but you know.
Fine. I'll have Matt Sningen answer the question as a no item run. What are you gonna run? What are you thinking is gonna be the key to an item run?
Well, see, funnily enough, as we were joking about, like, haha, I'm going to run a Wicked Bloodline team. Well, actually, I'm going to run a Sworn Enemies team because I'm going to run LR Full Power Freezer, double leads. I'm going to run Golden Freezer, AGL, and Tech. And my rotations will be stick a Golden Freezer in slot 1 and let him tank the hits, and then have Full Power Freezer go off in slot 2. And then in slot 3, I will be bringing various units like Third Form Freezer, the Int Namek Freezer, because that free-to-play Int Namek Freezer is going to be super good for this. He has damage reduction and supports the whole team if there's a Goku family enemy, and every single fight has a Goku family enemy. So as long as you prioritize killing all the other enemies first and leaving that unit until the end, he will always have that passive. He also lowers attack on Super, which is really good for Super Battle Road. So it is very cool that Global got that stage so quickly after JP. It's nice. A long time ago, we actually got stages fairly closely together until that gap massively widened. So this is quite nice to see. And I have heard, though, Truth was telling me about it, because like you said, obviously it is out on JP. This is a stage kind of like the Margin Power one, where apparently the enemies do hit really, really hard. So
Yes.
I feel like they've obviously balanced it around the kind of crazy teams that they expect people to be bringing. So this one definitely will be a little bit on the tougher side. But
I will say one thing to keep in mind is that they do feel like they hit harder, but remember that Full Power Freeze's team has 150% to defense compared to at least 170%. So that's actually does make a difference for sure. But yeah, that stage can be pretty difficult. They could hit you very hard, right? But Full Power Frieza just destroys the stage with his guaranteed crits because there's like a Goku in like every fight, right? So you get to move by pretty fastly, but you gotta really be careful with the units taking damage. Like even third form Frieza, like in Super Battle Road, he doesn't build up enough anymore, I feel like. Oh, and these current new Super Battle Road stages. So he can get hurt if you don't get like, triple supers or something like that, right? So you gotta be careful in certain situations. At the end of the day, it's kind of RNG, but it wasn't too difficult with items when I beat it myself, so I didn't even run the golden freezes. I just went through and have full power Frieza just kill everyone, right? But yeah, I think guys, I'll just confirm Super Saiyan 2 and for Super Battle Road and Time Traveler Extreme Super Battle Road is coming to JP. I'm the only JP player here. I kind of have teams ready for that. I mean, realistically, you could try that new Trunks that's coming out the Super Strike for Time Traveler stage. It's not going to work that best. But for the Super Saiyan 2 stage, I think you kind of go with Majin Vegeta, right? And then you kind of run like, the Super Saiyan 2 Heroes Trunks. He's not from Heroes, but the crossover one. He'll be a good option to run, right? And Majin Vegeta should be able to like take a lot of the damage for you really well, but the only issue is that there's not really an orb changer there, so hopefully he won't struggle too much to get key. At least still got the orb changing because you're under the HP threshold, but yeah, not much really to say there. Time Traveler Extreme Super Battle Road Cell will probably be really good there. So
no, don't
yeah.
take the easy way out, Minotaur. I expect to see you beat Time Travelers ESBR with the Heroes team.
I don't have
You'll
Cell,
represent.
so that's what I was gonna do.
Well, there you go. Good. That's what I like to see.
Oh my goodness, you just hurt my soul even more, man. I'm secretly weeping after that multi.
Actually, that's a good point. Will it hurt you more to know that I have Cell, but I won't use him for that stage? So.
I don't care about anyone else but me right now. I just want Cell. That's all that matters. My tunnel vision is me, Cell now.
I would like any of the new units, so you can go shut up because I still haven't pulled anyone.
Minato.
Too
Stop
bad.
Stop being so selfish.
Oh God! And the podcast.
I will be selfish.
I'll be here all week.
To be fair, I don't even have that AGO Vegeta either, so it's fine, right? It's fine, right? Joker, it's okay. Anniversary's coming soon. You'll get the best luck in your life.
Yeah, we pray that I get some luck there. Joker,
yeah, then you better not complain in a few months.
I'm gonna complain because I'm gonna hold you accountable if I don't have luck.
Blah blah blah. Anyways, continuing on, we do have Golden Week Part 2 upcoming. Yes, actually, that should be out around the 13th. We know that for sure because the sales are actually going to reset on the 13th, as it states in the JP News. Funny enough, it doesn't even say that in the global news, but in the JP news it says that the 13th we're getting new cells. So that's funny, right? But yes, we do have another LR for part 2 most likely coming on the 13th. People are speculating, oh, it's the 100th LR. It's going to be something special. Me personally, I don't think that's the case. But, Gil, what do you think about this whole 100th LR thing going around right now?
I don't think they'll do anything for that. Listen, it's not gonna. It's just gonna be something like Super Trunks or something, and they're gonna call it a day.
Yeah, that's
It
what I
really
was
is.
thinking, right? It's gonna
It
be
really is.
it's gonna be like 18 exchange into 17, and then it's like, oh my god.
Well, I don't know if
100th
it's that bad, but yeah. The thing is, people say bye, guys, but I feel like there's just so little animations for them to use. What are they gonna do? Goku blowing himself up, basically? I mean, that's
Yeah, look, it's
yeah.
gonna be another Goku exchange into Gohan. It's
No,
gonna
please.
be Goku revive exchange into Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and then
Yeah,
they're gonna
I
have
wasted enough stones already, brother. I don't want to waste any more stones on this
And-
golden
and then-
celebration.
they're gonna have active skill family Kamehameha that's
Oh,
voiced,
God.
and he actually walks this time, right?
Ooh.
And we actually see the animation of a Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Yes, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
have Vegeta flying, right?
Yeah. I
And
think
then-
it's something. I think it's very likely it's just Super
Look.
Trunks because it'll be. I think they'll want to do something like, oh, we did Goku Gohan, and recreated the tech version into the STR version. Let's use that STR version and create a Super Tech version of Super Vegeta, exchange into Super Trunks, something like
I
that.
don't know.
think
I would
they'll
just
do-
be that would be
Yeah.
so unexciting to me. I would
I-
be so bored, and I would skip that time.
The only reason why I would care about it is because of pure nostalgia, and that's it. Because Super Trunks and Super Vegeta were like the first things I've watched from the anime itself. In terms of Dragon Ball Z anime, that was the first scene. So that's the only thing that would carry. I understand for a lot of other people, it would be actually rubbish. It's one of the worst ideas, but I do think it's very likely that that's the case.
Aren't you like a Vegeta fan too? I can see.
No, I'm not a Vegeta fan. Are you crazy?
I'm
Do you
kidding.
think I would support a loser? Are you
I know.
serious?
Whoa,
Imagine
whoa,
being
hey.
a
Who
Vegeta
loses every
fan.
single time?
That
Nah, bro.
bum.
Bro,
Really
just
screwed
really
up.
awkwardly,
No. The funny thing is that was the first thing I watched of Vegeta in the anime, and the fact that he immediately, let Cell get the dub and then lost was too funny to me, bro. I could
Yeah.
not believe what I was watching.
If you guys have been on Twitter like the past few days on the Dokkan
no.
community, there's this whole thing with second form Cell, and someone was like, "Oh, but who won the fight?" And it was like, "So, let's not get into that, right?" But yeah, Negan, what are your thoughts on this upcoming possible LR? Well, not possible, but this upcoming LR, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've seen a couple of people saying about the whole Trunks and Vegeta exchange because obviously we got those free-to-play units a while ago, the EZA, the Goku and Gohan, and the Vegeta and Super Trunks. And obviously we kind of got the opposite way round with the Goku Gohan Dokkan Fest being STR. So it'd be kind of interesting if that was actually the case and we got a tech Super Trunks and Super Vegeta. I don't know if I would necessarily not be hyped for it. I mean, for me, a lot of the stuff comes. I like seeing moments that aren't, well represented, whether it be because they are, but it's from a super old unit, so the animations kind of suck, or just haven't been in the game at all. And we have seen them doing a lot of Dokkan original stuff with animations as well. So I feel like if, say, it was a Super Trunks and Super Vegeta in some kind of capacity, I'm sure they could find a way to make it hype with like the animations or just the kit. If the unit is really, really good, then obviously I would be excited to summon for it. But I do agree that just on paper, like just the announcement in and of itself that it is a Super Trunks and Super Vegeta, I don't think that would be that hype to a lot of people. But it does kind of leave you questioning what the other options are. I know a lot of people still want to see a Bye Guys Goku. That comes up pretty much every time the Cell Saga comes back again. And it does kind of make sense, right? Because obviously the Goku Gohan Dokkan Fest is from, the start to the middle, I guess, of the Cell games. And so then Bye Guys Goku is essentially the next step after that. So it could even be like a Bye Guys Goku with like a revival or active skill where you then change into Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, which would then kind of make them and the Dokkan Fest designed to almost be run together to kind of tell the whole story of the Cell games. I think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'd rather see a Bye Guys Goku than a Trunks and Vegeta somehow.
So
I
I
would
have an
say-
idea. I have an
Run-
idea. Stick with me for a second. What if, because we've gotten, Gohan before he went Super Saiyan 2 technically, because he does it in his counter. But what if we get another like Team Universe 7 kind of card, but it's the Z Fighters fighting the Cell Juniors? Because we haven't had that really done. And we have a Cell Junior card, but we don't have like a Z Warrior kind of card.
Mm.
You see,
I've seen people mention that, but like the problem is that their links and categories would be
Oh, they're gonna be awful.
awful.
I
They're gonna
don't
be
know about
absolute
that
garbage,
because if it's like Super Saiyan Goku Z Fighters, right? Then he could have like prepare for battle, Super Saiyan, experience power to shocking speed. But it's not a bad link set, right? In all retrospect, unless they give something like well, they would obviously have the Z Fighters link, right? But if they get, I don't know, Speedy Retribution or something, I don't know. I think that their link set would be okay if it's a Super Saiyan Goku, like because they usually do like the character, then the actual like name, like Android 17 Universe 7. That's where he has like Android Assault and stuff like that. So if it's like a Super Saiyan Goku, you're gonna have Super Saiyan prepare for battle, Kamehameha. I think it could be good for the link set. I've seen that idea float around, but I thought personally would have been the new Battlefield LR, but we haven't gotten that yet. So very interesting, right? Because we usually get those with the resets of the bosses.
I've got you,
I'm trying-
Serena Bo. We are thinking the same thing in chat. See, two
I
minds
think
right there.
well, I mean, yeah, we'll talk about Battlefield in a second, but that idea for the Z Fighters wouldn't be a bad shout, especially if it is just Super Saiyan Goku. Because if it isn't and it's just Z Fighters, that's a concern to me. That would be a problem. But now that you brought that up, I think that would be a much better idea because it'll have actually good links.
Yeah, there's ways they could do it to make it good, which I think they should do. Because it would be nicer to see those other characters represented. Because obviously, like, people meme, and obviously each of those characters do kind of have some of their own shining moments in some of the sagas. But, like, the supporting Z Fighter cast are not anybody's favorite characters. So, like, an LRZ Fighters is not necessarily going to be the most hype unit. But there are ways they could do it, like we've just discussed, essentially. So then it would be cool to see those units being in the card and like in the super attack animations and stuff, but then them designing the card in such a way that then it is actually usable on teams. Because you don't want them to release like an LRZ Fighters that is, set out the way we've seen some of these other Join Forces cards, where you're just then never going to use them because they only fit on like one team you actually want to run. And then their best link partner is like LRTN and Chaozu, who you're not going to want to run. So yeah, hopefully I think it could be done well, but it would have to be done very well. Otherwise no one would care.
I agree. And, on the topic of LRs, we do have EZA speculation. So for Goku Day, we know for sure we're not getting a summonable LR EZA or anything like that. So now it's basically, I feel like it's very, very likely, obviously. I would be shocked if we don't get an LR EZA for part 2 of Golden Week specifically, which maybe they'll be out on the 13th specifically. Maybe they'll be a few days after the 13th or something, right? But there's a lot of speculation people are having, Age-O Gohan, and Cell, the androids, Gohan and Goten even possibly. Joker, what are your thoughts on what possibly could be this part 2 LR EZA?
I think the Go Bros being AZ8 now would make a decent amount of sense. They're like what, 2 years old, 3 years now, somewhere around there. They've aged out. They can still put up numbers, but I don't think anybody really runs them anymore. And bringing them back into relevancy would be pretty good for the unit, because if you give him, because they're not going to get extra stats, they're just going to get extra passive abilities, which they're a stacking build-up unit, which is good for long events, which means that if they get a much better kit, they will be competitive in the red zone when they come out on global and even SBR. Like right now they get killed because they just stack up so slowly. But give them some extra effects, give them a boost in their passive, give them maybe guaranteed crits against movie bosses. And I think they could be a very good unit. I don't think they're gonna EZA like the dual Dokkan Fest Gohan and Cells. I think those will be saved for a bigger celebration, because we don't generally get dual Dokkan Fest. Well, actually, we haven't really gotten any until the 7th year anniversary, so that's the only real kind of marker we have to base it off of. But I think they're going to hold those for later on.
Yeah, I think if they were to do a dual Dokkan Fest EZA, I think they would be one of the primary ones that would be getting it. I mean, we saw it kind of with the 7th year anniversary, but we just got effectively we got 3 dual Dokkan Fest getting an EZA back to back to back, basically with like Gogeta Omega. Then we had the 3-year LRs and so on. But if you look at last year, the main EZA for Golden Week was SSJ4, Goku, and Vegeta, and they were the first ones to get their EZA, right, in that celebration. I don't know if we did get any second EZA, but yeah, I think it'll be something else. I think it'll be probably like LR Fist Cell or something. GoBros would have been a good shout, and I really was backing GoBros to get one right now because they're even well on global. They're older than the 4-year LRs, right? So it wouldn't make sense for them to get their EZA now. Considering all things, but I feel like they would have announced it for Goku Day itself because it, that moment symbolizes the Goku family as a whole effectively. Alongside the father son Kamehameha. So the fact that they didn't makes me think that's less likely, and it's more likely that it's something related to Cell Saga or whatever the Part 2 LR is going to be.
Yep, Nugget.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see them get an EZA. I was super hyped when they first came out. I mentioned in the best Kamehameha of all time video that we put out on the 5-9 channels, which you guys should check out if you haven't seen it. Family Kamehameha is definitely one of my favorites. So I was really hyped when this unit came out, obviously, partly because it was a global first. So I've always got to celebrate those W's when we can get them because I thought they were really good when they first came out. They were super underrated. People didn't like the fact that you had to like build the team around them, but obviously at their best, they were able to look really, really good. They have aged a little bit. They can still be okay. I think their main issue is how long it takes for their defense to be relatively good. And then even at its best, it's not the best for things like red zone, for example, which isn't an issue for global, but is obviously something you have to think about going forwards. In terms of Part 2 LRs that I think are most likely, I could see Physical Cell or the Physical Androids. I did tweet a poll out the other day to see what people were feeling about those two, because Cell getting an EZA would be super, super good for AGL Cell, because he's the best link partner for AGL Cell once he goes final form, but obviously you can't really run him in super difficult content these days. So him getting an EZA would be super good for Cell pretty much on his own, right? Because then he'd have that awesome link partner. But then the physical androids getting an EZA would be really good for the whole team overall, because they are an android support unit. Then when you exchange into 16, they're even now still a pretty solid tank. So post EZA, that 16 would actually be really, really good defensively, even in like the most difficult content. So like it's interesting to see which way they would go, because like I say, Cell just benefits that one particular rotation, whereas the androids benefit the whole team. So I'd be happy with either of those, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, those are definitely two pretty good options that I feel like you can get. I personally feel like they'll go crazy and just do Gohan and Cell. The 300, was it $300 million version? Yeah. I think that it's a really good shot for them to get that. I would say Physical Cell makes a lot of sense too, though. I think Physical Cell would be a really good one. And like any of those like Android Cell Saga LRs could realistically EZA, in my opinion, right? It's pretty crazy because they're all like old. They all like aged out at this point, right? So it's like really, I think it's very, very likely that one of them really do fully EZA, and I would like that. I mean, if I take another look here just to make sure I'm not missing anyone, yeah, I mean, the Android, Cell, Gohan, Physical LR Cell, right? Any of those can get EZAs, I think, would be very, very likely. I think from the Android Cell Saga category, all TURs have EZA'd, but it's low-key possible for Physical Piccolo to get an EZA too, right? That'd be interesting, but and that's pretty much all like the units that who have a chance to get an EZA would EZA, right? But yeah, I think we're pretty much wrapped up there for all the things that Global and JP are sharing. There's one thing that JP has exclusively gotten, and that's the new Battlefield bosses actually. So I know personally I've had I'm pretty sure Gales has like JP on the side, right? But I don't know if anyone else has actually played the new Battlefield boss besides me. Has anyone here tried them out or seen some gameplay on it at least?
I've seen people get one-shotted by him, but that's about it.
All right, I guess it's up to me. I'll carry the JP department. Like I carry everything here, but just kidding.
Yes.
But yeah,
Vilify has.
Yeah, like I said, Vilify has right there. He's on the side. He's in chat. the actual YouTube viewers won't see it, unfortunately. But basically, we got a new set of bosses for the JP version. Dokkan, this Broly boss, there's a lot of talk on whether or not he's harder than Omega Shenron. I think the Broly boss is actually easier because you could seal Broly, you could attack lower him, right? So because of that, you could really get around his one major issue, which is his super attack, which hits extremely hard, right?
Yeah.
So if you're able to get around the super attack, you'll be looking really good.
No, I agree. I think that makes it super easy. The moment you can debuff the enemy, it automatically makes that stage very easy to beat because you'll just build your team around to counter it. I mean, that's what I remember we used to do when Jiren was around, right? He would attack hard, but you could debuff him. So the moment you could lower his attack, he would not hit as hard as he should be hitting. So it would make life a lot easier. And in this case, the fact that you can just seal him, it's just like, well, you've nullified his strongest attack, and then once you start lowering his attack, it makes life a lot easier. So it's fine. In all honesty, it doesn't seem as bad as Omega for sure.
Yeah, and I would say the thing about Omega is that he could lock you to super you, and there's nothing you could do because you can't use items, no sensu beans. With Broly, he doesn't like lock you or anything. He doesn't seal you or do something annoying like that. You could just if you built your team smartly and play smartly, then you could work around it, which I like how it's built, right? Obviously you could always get unlucky. Bad RNG, that's just how the game works. RNG is a huge aspect of it. But I think that the Broly boss is a better designed boss. He's just not as difficult as Omega is, personally to me, right?
Yeah. I think if you couldn't debuff him, it would be a little bit more riskier. But then at the same time, unlike the red zone where they cancel your dodge, you could just bring something like Tech Caulifla or Tech God Goku to effectively nullify that phase effectively.
Yeah, pretty much that. So, I mean, anyone else, Ning and Joker, you guys have any additional thoughts on the Battlefield bosses?
Yeah, I watched Truth's video because obviously I'm not a JP player, but I wanted to see how it goes. And I would agree with the general sentiment. Obviously, Broly being the new boss, everybody was, expecting him to be the new hardest boss. And I think it was pretty much his reaction while he was playing it. Like, as soon as I noticed that you were able to seal and attack lower him, then yeah, he's not harder than Omega because it just means you just have to build your team correctly, right? So for Battlefield, I still think the best way is always to just use mono teams. Obviously, if you can build a category within that same color, then obviously that's the most effective because you get the higher leader skill. But yeah, just make sure every time Broly's typing changes, just make sure you bring a team that is going to have a couple of sealers and a couple of attack lowers. And then the only way you're really going to get screwed over is if you get super attacked in slot 1 and you started with a bad rotation, which, I mean, that's what would happen against Omega anyway. So I definitely don't think that he is as hard as Omega.
Yeah, and I'd say that would be pretty much it there. So yeah, that's pretty much all the topics we do have today, 5-9 Gamers. Thank you all for catching up on the 5-9 podcast. No break today, no questions so far. So keep it tuned for next week. We may bring back questions, right? But yeah, anything else, any last comment you want to add about just Dokkan generally, guys, before we go ahead and end today?
Tired of getting shafted. That's it.
Me too. All right, well, thank y'all for watching. Feel free to catch up on everything 5-9 Gaming related. And of course, it's myself, Ningen, Joker, and Gail. We all hope you have a great day. And